Hello, world. I am here today from Southern Indiana, outside of Louisville, to talk to you about your circle of influence. But first, before we get to my main topic of the day, Facebook has changed their live their live system for going live. As I'm stuttering through this, I thought I had it all figured out, but no, today when I did it, said you don't have the right browser, and I thought my browser was perfectly fine. So get ready for the virtual world, people. We are entering into the normal, and I'm not calling it the new normal, but virtual is going to be part of what we have nowadays. More and more people are going virtual. I know with sales, I'm definitely more virtual. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the circle of influence. Now you may say, Sean, what is a circle of influence? The circle of influence is who you decide to associate with. I've talked about this before, but it's important to realize that who you hang with will decide who you become. And since I don't have a teleprompter, I need to review notes. I am the way I am today because of who I have chosen to include in my circle of influence. My circle of influence in elementary school, high school, college, and throughout all the jobs that I've had. Those bits and pieces of individual personalities that have glommed onto me and I have sifted through have determined who I am today. Well, that and my relationship with Jesus Christ, which has made me a much more sane person, but we're not talking about that today. So, to begin with, those of you who know me, to know me is to love me, and to not know me is to be very confused about me. I know that I've offended many people over the years, and for that I am sorry. I apologize to you here at this moment, sincerely. And I know that the people and the things that I read and what I allow in has shaped me into a better and different person. We all grow up over the years as we move forward, and that is because of our circle of influence. So, over this time, from my circle of influence, I have learned moderation. One needs to be true to themselves, yet be moderated at the same time. Because I have one of those personalities that if I do not moderate it, I will overwhelm people. And I know that. And turn them off and have them back away from me. And frankly, who wants people to back away from them? I'm getting to a point here. I remember years ago, someone told me I was incredibly tenacious, and that's why they signed the contract that I kept putting in front of them. And I don't necessarily like the term tenacious because I think it has somewhat of a negative connotation. I like to live by life is long, and what occurs today will affect tomorrow. But if you have a goal, a big, hairy, audacious goal, what I refer to as a BHAG, that is not a Litvak leadership original, that is something that I've heard from someone else, a BHAG, life is long. Don't give up on your BHAGs. But back to, who is your circle of influence? If you needed to sit down right now and take a pen, and I like red pens because they're easier to read and they just seem bolder when you write with them. Who is in your circle of influence? They may not be people that you see all the time. You may just talk to them on the phone. I can think of one gentleman in Florida who is part of my circle of influence. I can think of someone who lives near me that I used to be in a couples group with who is in my circle of influence. I can think of an old friend from Chicago who I saw a couple years ago, and we exchange messages on Facebook now. But we were tight in high school. He's in my circle of influence. I can think of someone that I used to work with, not at this job, but a couple jobs ago, who is in my circle of influence. I can think of an individual who was on my team. Sadly, he is not on my circle of influence. But when we spent time together, he did influence me. I can think of someone who sold me product at one time. He is in my circle of influence. So the people, my point is, the people that you come across over the course of your life have the opportunity to influence you, and you hopefully to influence them. Here's the thing about a circle of influence. The individuals in my circle of influence are not all in an exclusive club of just being that is the circle of influence. It is like they are my circle of influence. I am sure I am part of their circle of influence, but they may have other individuals as part of that circle of influence. So, question, do the people in your circle of influence encourage you? And I'm going to say positively, because if they are influencing you negatively, they are not the people you want in your circle of influence. You want people to encourage you, people to help you, people to look at what your goals and dreams are conversationally, or you can lay them out for them, and have them tell you, well, yes, that's reasonable, or boy, that one takes my breath away. But you want people in your circle of influence that look at what you have on your mind and have set as goals that you can move forward with, and they can assist you, help you, encourage you, and whatnot with that. And if you don't have people in your life who are encouraging you and are as part of your circle of influence, I have a question. Why not? Why not? There's millions of people in the world. I was just looking at something for one of my big, hairy, audacious goals that I'm working on. I'm publishing a book, and if you want it, let me know. It's going to be coming out soon. I don't have a date. I don't have a publisher, but I will. I am in talks with a literary agent, and I'm having to put together some documents for him. There are 8 million managers in the United States as of May of 2019. Were you aware of that? 8 million people who are some level of manager. So here's my point. If there's 8 million managers, let's just say there's, they each manage on average 4 people, 4.7, but we'll use 5. So if there's 8 million managers who are managing 5 people, that's 40 million people in the US who are working, at least pre-pandemic. This was May 2019. And you're telling me you can't come up with a circle of influence that will encourage you? I bet there's people there that you just haven't looked for. Who are you spending your time with? Hopefully not Pity Party Patty. Just made that one up. Pity Patty Party or Sad Sammy, okay? You need to be spending time with individuals that encourage. Let's see. So these people in your circle of influence, you should admire them. They should be better at something that you are not. Everyone in my circle of influence I look at and say, I want to be like that person because of this. I want to be like that this person can do. I want to have this become a part of my personality. That is why they are considered a circle of influence. If you're just looking at the people that are part of your circle and say, I don't want to be a part of them, well, that's not the right group. Your circle of influence, how have they helped you? But more importantly, how have you helped them? What are you doing to help these individuals in your life? Because let me tell you, in this new normal, this post-pandemic world, it's not going to be about me, and mine. It's going to be about you, and how I can help you. I am reaching out to everyone in my circle of influence. And here's the thing, some of them reached out to me before I could reach out to them. I felt bad because these are individuals that I care about, that I want to see do well, and they're checking on me. And I've been checking on them to see how we're doing in shelter in place, in quarantine, in whatever you want to call it. But we've had encouraging words for each other. We've asked each other, how's this going? How's that going? These aren't people that I necessarily have lunch with on a regular basis, but they're people that are in my life and know the things that are going on in my life. So your circle of influence, do they increase your faith? Do they increase it because of what they are? Do they increase it because of what they are not? Do they question you? Do they make you legitimize the things you believe? Gosh, I hope so. We all need to be challenged. They shouldn't be challenging you all the time, but they should be challenging you enough for you to legitimize and understand why you believe what you believe. Does your circle of influence help you encourage your vision for yourself? Do they hear the things that you're working on and go, yeah, that sounds like you, can't wait to see it? That's what one guy said about my book. He's like, it's kind of like reading my own mail. This guy and I are a lot alike. Do they encourage you? But here's the thing, do they correct you in a encouraging way? I've got individuals in my life that I'll say, I just want to tell them this. And they'll say, well, did you? Well, no, that'll get me in trouble. And they're like, good man, you've learned after all these years. So your circle of influence, do they give you correction with solutions and or be solution pointers? They can't just tell you this is the right way to do it. They need to say, well, what do you think about that? I have people say to me all the time, well, Sean, what do you think about that? And hey, my wife is part of my circle of influence, but I'm not talking about spousal influence here. All right? Let me be totally and completely clear on that. I'm talking about individuals within your life to influence you. Of course, your spouse is part of your circle of influence, but you cannot discuss everything all the time, all the thoughts you have, all the plans you have, all the visions you have, and every little minute detail with your spouse. Okay? You will drive each other crazy. That is what the circle of influence, friendship circle, is for. If all you do is go over those details with your spouse all the time, you will drive each other nuts. The circle of influence of individuals to build you up for your spouse. Does your circle of influence help you become what you want to become? Do they bring you where you want to be, to bless your family, to walk forward, and to expand, and to bless others? That's my question to you. Who is in your circle of influence? What are you doing for them, and what can they do for you? Is there an exchange? Because if there's not an exchange, and you're just a giver, and they're just takers, it's not a circle of influence. And if they're just giving, and you're just taking, it's not a circle of influence. There needs to be an exchange. So I leave you with that thought today. Look for a circle of influence that can encourage you in all your goals. And now that I found the end video button, I will look at you. But let's see, had all kinds of people, interesting people from, one of the churches we've attended, high school, speech and debate, work, neighbors. Come on now. Everyone have a great Saturday night.